Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the West S live stream of 131:23. Um, Still not February. A bunch of people went live. I'm not subscribed to them. Dun, dun, dun. Anyhow, hello, hello to the person who just came in and stuff. This is West S wanting to rant and rave about people being stupid. Oh, I lost my one person. Go check and see if somebody came in and threw me a thumbs up and left. I hate that. It's so harsh on the algorithm. It really hurts the algorithms. Uh, no, they didn't do that. They just came in and left. That's spook. It's okay. Talk to myself. So if some people show up, I'll start talking about really cool stuff like stuff. Yeah, what is today? Tuesday? Today's Tuesday. LS had her baby. I don't know anybody that who knows who Lakeisha is or not, but anyway, she had her baby. She gave it a name and everything. Can't remember what it is now. And my phone's dead, so I can't look it up. It's a little bitty. It's under 6 pounds, but it's healthy and it's home. That's cool. Maybe while she's recuperating, she can stop in and say hey to us every once in a while. She was like the all-time ninja of moderators, man. It's like impossible to beat her to anything. Which I don't know. We got most of the. I guess most of the aggravating people quit coming around to the live stream. So, um, I wonder if it's working okay because people are popping in, but then they're leaving right back out. Oh, there's Clifford. Hey, Clifford. Shows we got two. There's only one. Maybe Carol. Hope she didn't have to drive to work in this crap. But they may not have got water up there. Uh-uh. Um, yeah, the been weathered and injured again, and I've been really bored. So I knew it was Carol. Hey, Carol. The when you're bored, what you look at TikToks or well, not TikToks. I hate TikTok. Um, Instagram Reels, which are just as bad, and YouTube and stuff. Read the news. Did y'all get any ice or anything up there, Carol? We got ice down here. It's not as bad as usual, but which we'll accept it the way it is. I mean, it's really cold though, and everything that comes down is freezing. The roads are kind of scary. Everything's closed. We did have a. Do we hear any more on that thing yet? That Kinder Morgan? Oh, okay. Well, we got ice here. Snow's okay. Snow's actually kind of cool. Ice ice is the real. Uh, we had a transformer explosion. Well, we didn't. One of the local companies did, and it was one of the big transformers, one of the big ones. Um, and um, I think when that place shuts down, it hemorrhages $2 million a minute or something like that. Maybe it's an hour. Um, anyway, yeah, they don't want to shut down because yeah. Hey, Abe, we ain't had nothing melt down here. It hadn't got above 25 degrees for 2 days now. So at least the wind died off out there for a while. Oh yeah, and I had a guy that uh, on my crew one time that failed to listen to instructions. I said, "We're going to stand here and we're going to wait for them to get here, and they will flip the appropriate breaker for us to do what we need to do." It's going to be this one, and he flipped it. He killed the breaker to the main control panel. All the computer room, the the he killed the power to the control room, which threw every safety in that section of the plant. Um, $2.5 million because it took them. It was cool too. The first thing that happened is all the safeties kicked on, and it vented all of their product, which they make. It's a gas plant, vented all of their product to the flare. So that little blue light that they keep going all the time, so it'll be lit in case something bad happens, turned into this giant 200-foot tall ball of yellow fire because they were venting everything that was coming into the plant. Every flammable molecule was going right out the stack. Hey, says that they have rules at these places. was just like, you know, boss man wouldn't let me yell at the dude. He wouldn't yell at the dude. Wasn't the first grew up. Like, that's one of the worst things you can do is put somebody in charge of getting something done and then don't give them the authority to make sure it happens. That's something else what goes along with the eggs, legs, beans, broccoli, food, just killing us or whatever. Everything out there that in the 80s and 90s, you should eat this. It's better for you. Oh, don't eat this. I mean, I remember when they were telling us not to eat potatoes back in the late 70s. Potatoes will give you cancer or whatever it was. I didn't remember anyway. They came out against potatoes hard. Um, anyway, and all the people out there, one of the memes that's going around now is um, they pay me barely enough to get by. So I work just enough not to get fired. And welcome to the new America. Uh, that's why everybody shops on Amazon because nobody wants to work. The This one lady, I like her a lot. She made it to 92, 92, I think, 91, 92. Actually, there's some debate about that. But anyway, uh, about the year she was born. Anyway, she strong and healthy right up until the time they told her she couldn't have bacon and eggs for breakfast anymore. I'm just saying. And if you've made it to 88 and if you worked your ass off your whole life, you're 88 years old and you want bacon and eggs for breakfast, I don't give a damn what the doctor says. Have bacon and eggs for breakfast. That's cost. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, she doesn't need any soda. She wants soda. She gonna get soda. She's 90 years old. She wants Coca Cola. She can have Coca Cola. Oh, she shouldn't make that drive. If she wants to go over there, we're gonna take her over there. It's- Why the hell would you condemn the someone you love into staring out a window for the last year of their life? What's fucking wrong with you? Yeah, I'm not enjoying the cold weather. Well, no, you don't eat the plant, the potato plant. Um, and that's the reason you're supposed to peel the potatoes. Uh, when the potatoes uh, starts, like they start to go green or whatever, it's not going to kill you, but uh, it's more designed as a deterrent for critters to eat the potato while it's trying to grow a plant. It's that's what. But the thing about it is, I mean, I want to say it was fourth grade is the first time, either fourth or fifth grade is the first time I heard anything about it. And then I know we went over it again in junior high. Um, but this thing called the life circle, or not circle, life cycles. Um, you come into being, and then you die. There's stuff that happens in between. It's going to be different for every species, subspecies, human. Some of us are clergy, some are clerks, some are welders, some are electricians, some are bums, some are intelligent, some are liberals. You it's but so what goes in between the coming into being and the dying is different. So I mean, you got bird dogs, and you got hog dogs, and you got lap dogs, and you got truck dogs. That doesn't change the fact that, guess what? You're going to die, and there are some things out there that you shouldn't do that are bad for you. But like all the stuff that they're coming out with, which are all old, actually. By the way, none of this stuff is new. They're recirculating it, rehashing it. They're coming up with. Um, they're trying to sensationalize some of this stuff to get some more backing for, you know, pushing us towards soy proteins and insect proteins and stuff like that. Get us away, to where they can control all of the food will be centrally grown and located, because you can grow a lot more crickets protein in a hen house than you can eggs. They Crickets just make crickets, and you don't have to give them real food. So anyway, just eating eggs isn't going to kill you. Now, if you look at all the people that, oh well, it shows that all these people that died also ate eggs. Well, yeah, but you know, uh, they were truck drivers, welders, construction workers, worked around radiation, and then they had all this other stuff in their life that was a contributing factor to, you know, the reason they died earlier than everybody else. And I'm sorry if this personal opinion, not saying everybody should keel over and die at this age. I'm just saying, if you've made it to 70 and you haven't died yet, and then you die, that's a lot of years. You can't say that something killed you if it killed you after 70. You damn sure can't say something has killed you after 85. If you die after you're 85, it was something called old age. Well, cancer took my grandmother. Oh, that's sad. How old was your grandmother? She was 97. It's just no. I know that's really hard, and it seems insensitive, but it's not. It's just, I mean, we're really gonna have to suck it up a little bit, people. This is the real world. When we don't, if we all keep eating into this drama queen business or whatever, this, then It doesn't matter how much stuff you have put aside, how many beans, bullets, and band-aids you got. You're not gonna pull it off. You're gonna find a, a beam really far from the floor and a little short piece of rope and a chair. If you're not just gonna take that high dollar super tactical flashlight laser pointer breaching pistol with the magic bulletproof shield on it and just smack yourself in the forehead with it. Yeah, 100% fatal sexually transmitted disease. That is life right there. Yeah, exactly, Foco. And welcome aboard. I haven't seen you around in forever. I haven't seen you anywhere for. Uh, yeah, I saw that. I missed your phone call. I was sleeping. Uh, that's what these show sports. I meant to call you after I got woke up, and I didn't. Um, but yeah, you got to do stuff in moderation. There is a plate of cookies over there. Big old plate of cookies. I get to sit there and just eat them all. Not bad. Well, I made the dough. I think those my wife baked those for me because she found the rest of my dough and she baked them, which is easier to eat cookies after you bake them. So anyway, long story short, there are they 2 dozen cookies on that plate. Like 2 dozen cookies, I could sit here and eat every one of them. It wouldn't kill me today, but eating that many cookies at a setting just might shave a day or two off the end of my life. Just that's the game you play. You know, uh, eating a 4 egg omelet with cheese and now I'm gonna make myself hungry. A 4 egg omelet with cheese and onion, some home fried style hash browns, and maybe a little salsa with coffee and some buttery toast or whatever. Put some ham in that omelet. Anyway, if I eat that every morning, that's a lot of protein, a lot of stuff, a lot of starch. There's a lot there. Now, if I ain't doing anything with all that energy, that's like you take a transformer like the one that just blew over there at that gas plant, and you got all of this energy going into it, and it ain't going out. It ain't good for the transformer. Yeah. I still think somebody went by and blowed that something up, but we'll never know. Well, I will because I'll talk to some of the linemen and stuff. But hey, Corsair, Steve from California. How's the weather out there? We've all decided that living in the middle of the United States and the flyover states sucks. Not enough to move to California, says the missus. First. Oh. I'd like to go back to Northern California. It's pretty up there. Them people are different, though. They like our people. Hey, creator, I didn't see you come in either. Um, Actually, eating apples can be good for you, but there are chemicals and processes that they put on some of the apples and stuff that aren't. like the irradiated fruit, it keeps it from rotting or whatever. We've got some over there, and but the problem is, you know, the yeast and some of the other stuff. I mean, there's beneficial bacteria that live on stuff too. And yeah, you should wash your food before you eat. But if there's beneficial bacteria inside the food, and then you kill it all, then yeah, there's no win. They're messing with the grid all over the place. Do you want me to say anything about that out loud, Sasquatch? I will. I get the date. He popped into a live stream last month or earlier in January, I believe. He's had a lot going on. But again, it's like everybody's Texas. They- Um, there's Texas where we live, and then there's Texas that a lot of people are moving to. Uh, Austin, Texas. That's not the people in Austin. I mean, they're good people in Austin. The Austin Round Rock area. There are, honey. Um, but that's not Texas. That's not Texas. Um, it's in the state of Texas, but that's like now Fort Worth is still pretty Texas, but Dallas isn't. Dallas is Dallas is blue. Houston's blue. Austin's blue. Um, not even the good old fashioned Southern Democrat. I grew up around some Southern Democrats. They were okay, but there aren't any of them left. I mean, they're all still voting Democrat, but they're dead. Um, and I think a lot of them, if they knew where sticking with their party would have was going to go, I think they would have switched to something else. Um, they poor guy votes Democrat is because they're worried about their bottom line. Bottom line. That's it. I mean, they can't. They're afraid they're going to lose some money. It's always the way it's been. Used to be the way it was. Now it's they're afraid somebody's going to have more money than them, and there's a very big distinction there. Okay, well, I hadn't told the missus about it yet. I'll mention it. Remind me to tell you that about what Corey texted. We might actually be able to do it. We'll have to see. Um, well, we just need a lot of the people that um, keep screaming. They just want to be left alone to live their life and not have to. We need to get rid of those. We need those people to realize that that's not the way the country works. I mean, It said the only way the country runs itself right is if the people living in the country are the ones running the country. And if you're not a participant, if you are not actively participating in, uh, people need to start suing CNN and MSNBC and ABC, NBC, and ESPN, MTV, and all the media companies out there uh, for misleading, yada 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 yada. You know, if people would just get together and if we could just shut the media and force them to go back to answering to the rules, I mean, make them report the facts instead of the stuff. Well, this one guy whose cousin actually dated somebody from this place said that this is what's going on and this is what our opinion is about it. And then they spend 30 minutes trying to convince you that their opinion is fact, pretending to read, that they're talking off the cuff when it's a script that is running raw. They can look 20 different places and see the same scrolly thing. So you don't realize they're actually reading a teleprompter most of the time. Well, we have to compete on a global scale. If we do not have a federal government, some other federal government comes in and we have to have a federal government. I'm sorry, but they don't have they should not have the authority, the control, or the overreach that they have, but we have to have them. Uh, the federal government was supposed to make the states play fair with each other. Like Texas, big oil and gas producer. We weren't, you know, we shouldn't be able to hold, we shouldn't be able to bankrupt Michigan or one of the states up there who need our energy, what they're doing, and they shouldn't be able to bankrupt us holding back on the steel and stuff that they would produce, kind of stuff. That's that's what the federal government was supposed to do. In dealing with other, there's got to be somebody that talks to, um, the Germans and the Italians and the Australians and the Canadians, or we could just stop talking to the Canadians. Um, the, there's a lot of people in Canada that are really like, there are but they have the same problem we do. Only there's so many more of them that actually embrace it. Uh, if anybody sees Hoople's cat, y'all can go ahead and tell him that that's from me. Well, there are a lot of him, a lot, and he's like probably a mild one. But there's a lot of Jeremy's and Chris's too. But what Yeah, that's true, Corsairs. And Wayne snuck in on me. I wasn't paying attention. My back is still hurting, but it's much better. Thank you, CR, for asking. Uh, Took me forever to figure out what that your post on Instagram was of the CR with the little. I thought there were some kind of LED lights or whatever, and then I actually read the heading. And I realized they were packages of candy. And then I realized that I was trapped at my house without any candy. And then I made cookies. So there's the rest of that story. That's how the cookies got over there. And anybody that wonders whether that goat herders pie stuff was good, yeah, we had it for supper, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But no, we don't have any left. So just we'll have to ask the missus to get up and make another pan. It's really, really good. Go for it. It's good food. AZ 103. That this is true. I agree with that. Uh, I agree with your statement. Uh, I'm still jealous of what C103 got going on. Well, sorry, I did not mean to share that. That was an accident. Um, it's honey. Okay, see, I thought it was candy. See, I just can't figure nothing out. Um, Here, we'll just do this because I can't figure out how to take that off. There now C103 can watch his name on the screen. That ought to mess with his brain. Uh, Self sufficiency. Sorry, folks. Uh, all the little homestead, and I've thought about going around and doing some videos of all the buildings and the houses and stuff because there is a lot of houses out in the middle of standing trees falling in on themselves that used to be little single family dairies and farms and stuff. You know, there's the little town that right up the road from here. It used to be a pretty decent sized town, and there's still buildings standing all over the place out in the pasture that show just exactly how far it's. This is one of the towns. This was one of the towns that survived the influenza um, because, well, it was actually on the live creek and it was more centrally located. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it made it. It held out until the 70s before they started bulldozing buildings. I think. So, and no, actually, up through the 80s, I think the I think the gin made it into that. So, um, dear Rachel, Yeah, relied on community. That's the deal. I mean, these people. You had this guy was doing dairy over here, and this guy was growing wheat and corn. Uh, and then you had this guy over here. He was running hogs and maybe vegetables, whatever. They were all working together. The guy that had the big chicken farms and stuff, he was buying his corn and his wheat from the guys that were raising wheat. Somewhere around the 50s, everybody started growing the same thing. There were there were silos all over this part of the world for where we grew milo, corn, wheat. We grew food. There was dairies. Dairies are a chicken farm every few thousand yards. Uh, I've actually dug through the remnants of one 12 cow dairy. They kept, was it two or 300 chickens and 12 cows, and they grew their own hay and stuff. And they had a large garden, and yeah, raised a whole family on it. But they depended on their neighbors for stuff. And you can either grow the silage for your cows, or you can grow the feed grains for your hens. I mean, there was only two of them, two adults, and I mean, they only had 160 acres. There's only so much they could do, and out of that 160 acres, there was probably only say right at 100 that was arable, and you have to have some of it for pasture. You have to just the cows have to go out and get it. So it's just, I mean, ooh, let me see who I'll go through and see who didn't tell you hi. Then you'll know who to kick in the shin next time you see him. Hey, Tibor. Corsair didn't say hi. Uh, actually, Corsair did say hi. There's a couple on here that didn't tell you hi. Oh, they're fixing it now. They're telling you hi now. They don't want to get kicked in the shin. So, uh, I ain't giving nobody my egg. I'm eating them puppies. I'm gonna see if I can eat them. See if I eat 3 or 4 eggs a day if it kills me. I bet it. I bet it takes me out before I turn 100. So that, and we're actually thinking about farming. Probably gonna go ahead um, sometime this coming week. That way the hens will hatch out after, or the eggs will be chicks after February's over with. The only thing that worries me is we have a power outage and my egg dropped to 95 for, I don't know, what does it take, like 20 minutes or something to kill the embryo? A hen can get up off of her eggs in the summertime. You know, if it's 90, she can get up and stay off of them for 20, 30 minutes. It's got to, they've got to stay above, to incubate, they've got to stay above 99.5 and below 101. Uh, and that's weird to think that some of the nests that failed or whatever were because it was so hot outside. The hens couldn't keep the temperature down on the head. I mean, when it's 115 degrees in the shade, because you got to keep the humidity. The humidity's got to be over like 80%, doesn't it? Yeah, you got to keep it like 40, 50%, something like that, and then the last week or whatever you crank it up. I don't think that's my leg. Cat. That's it. You want to Oh man, I love those kind of flea markets, Wayne. Two, 3 dozen over there. We're only getting like 4 or 5 a day. Got a couple days you got 6 eggs though, huh? It's not bad. We only got 7 left. But now I've been doing some brain thinking on this Tractor Supply feed or whatever, and the hens start playing. I'm not 100% sure there ain't something to that, but I ain't got any. I would have to go do a lot of knocking and asking and stuff. I'd have to do a lot of research before I said that it is. Then again, it's still not. It's not Tractor Supply. It's not a store brand. I'd really like to know who owns Producer's Pride. I mean, all the way back to the who's making the feed and putting it in the deal. Because when our chickens are completely quit laying, and they'll slow down a lot in the wintertime, but they usually just quit. And so I stopped feeding the laying and just doubled up on uh, the scratch and cracked corn to try to get their weight up some. Maybe they're going to. And they started laying. Now the scratch and the cracked corn, they're both producers' pride. But having worked in a place that produces feed pellets that pelletized chicken feed, you can put anything in there you want. Literally anything. You can add sawdust for whatever. Um, one of the feeds they made, they actually uh, it had peanut hulls, hot burrs, mo- uh, uh, it had hot water and molasses that sprayed into it to give it water content. Uh, corn, oatmeal. There's some kind of high protein freaking. or whatever. But I'm like cotton burrs and peanut oil. But yeah, I mean, you put whatever you want to it. Like I say, with that when they're adding molasses to it for flavor, is steam and molasses and an injector. Uh, the stuff was falling through the chute, and that mist was just going in there, and so you can do anything when you pelletize. Put whatever you want to in the pellet. Do more is by Purina. I do not believe that Pride is owned by C103. Do more, however you say it is. But, sorry, I was just noticing how lucky I was. And that's the thing. I mean, if you ain't got some place to buy your chicken feed, your chickens are gonna starve to death. Uh, then I'm probably gonna shut this off for the hour and I'll be out there. I'm gonna salt the sidewalk, so I'm tired of slipping around. We got ice on everything here. It ain't much, but it doesn't have to be much when it's ice. It's gonna work. All right, see, I'll be good. Who is getting tired of all these memes and stuff about people pretending to be like drug dealers selling the egg? It was funny the first couple times, but after the 50th or 60th person put out their own version of illicit egg sales, I was like, I'm over it, people. Uh, move on. Do something else. But then again, I'm getting to be a cynical, grouchy old bastard. I think turning into a mean old man. I think that's because I cut my hair off. Maybe if I grow up back out, then I'll calm down a little bit and go back to being my loving, jovial friend. Oh, really? I hadn't watched Doug and Stacy in a long time. Um, he lost me on his. You don't ever have to clean your chicken house out video. I'm like person, animal that's working for you to feed you, living their own feces for years. year or two before you cleaned it out. I mean, that's caca. Nasty. That was it. Yeah, I actually had short hair when I started my YouTube channel. But nobody watches. Nobody, like, literally nobody watches any of my own videos. Like 5, 6, 7, 8 views on them. That was it. I was going. I went back and watched a few of them, and I'm like, oh damn, I was right on that. Took longer than I thought. And honestly, I was just as cynical back then. I just was better at talking. Um, a lot of videos that I'm thinking of right now are actually videos I did while I was remodeling the farmhouse attached to that 12 cow dairy. 12 cows per dairy. These folks, uh, they actually had two water wells on the property. They had a water well for the house, and they had a water well, a water well for the cattle or livestock. All the stuff they used for farming the hay and stuff is still out there in the trees. When he got old and died, his wife lived to 104. Last four of that. Anyway, they quit farming it back in. They quit trying to make a living off of it back in the late 70s, early 80s. They got into that CRP program, and the acreage that they were running their hay and wheat and stuff on, they got in conservation reserve program. So they a check off of that. And they were one of the few people in that county that actually took care of actually did the stuff to keep the stuff in CRP. So, I'm sorry, am I turning away and letting y'all lose me or something? And yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, Clifford. The um, whether or not that is actually doing anything to the chickens. I know that perithrin or malathion, the stuff that they spray for army worms, will sterilize your chickens. They will stop producing eggs, and if they get a strong dose, it becomes permanent. They will just burns out their ovaries and they will never lay another egg. Don't spray that crap around your chickens. Don't use it for pest control around your chickens. And it could be my internet too. We got uh, all we have now is satellite broadband. So uh, I have to just ask y'all to forgive me about that. We got that Starlink stuff or whatever. And if it's switching from one satellite to the which I understand that, why didn't they just make the satellites geosynchronous? That's right, one where they stay in the right spot, and then you just point at the one satellite, and then if it gets obscured, the machine can rotate over to another, not having to chase the freaking satellites through the sky or whatever. It's annoying. When it's on, it's good. It's real good when it's on. Hey, Trajan, I hated that my CB gave up on me. I've thought about buying another one, but I don't have anything to put it in. I'm not gonna drill my RAM. I don't drive hell, I don't even have a Nissan Street League. I've just been using it for a ranch truck. Um,
That got
uh, next thing about fixing the Nissan and getting it street legal again. I mean, I actually miss driving it. It's fun, honestly. Hey, pal, Meadow Bear Trooper. And Jay, it's kind of tricky for me sometimes, Palmetto, because there's two Palmettos that come in here, and I never think to. I see the first word and just say Palmetto, and are two different guys. What I'm good. Warm up out there yet? No lilies and no butterflies. No birds singing in the trees. No cherry blossoms or anything like that. Excuse me. Well, honey, we're having a heat wave. It's 24 and a half degrees out there right now. Back to judging in silence. Hey, Chip. How's your carving going? Man, I have a painting that I bought at a garage sale in there on the wall, and it's not a Bob Ross, but somebody painted this thing Bob Ross style, and it's one of my favorite $5 finds. If I pulled it out of the frame and it actually said Bob Ross on the bottom of it, I'd crap my britches. Uh, you just because that's we used to watch and we would try to paint the stuff. I never could make it come out like he did. Whoever did this one was really, really good though. Um, this is called I Got Out of Bed Here. I'm hair's falling out back and it'll grow back, but I've decided to try to grow it back out again. Only reason I cut it is because I thought it would help with headaches, and then it didn't. Couldn't find out the headaches is. What? Did anybody care to hear about what the actual mechanics behind a cluster headache are? I can tell you now. Finally found me one of them Asian doctors that was able to tell me something. The It's all tied up in a legal dispute or whatever. The people that had that finance produced the show or whatever snagged everything and locked everything up and filed papers saying that it was their property and not the family's property. And there's a whole big old messed up thing about that. Um, there are a few Bob Rosses out there that uh, predate the show that he gave away and that he had tried to sell and stuff. There's some out there, not all of his. He painted long before he went on the TV. Um, so there's stuff out there, and I don't pretend that that's one of them. I know it's not. It's not old enough for one thing. Yeah, my happy little trees or whatever look like the pine trees in the high desert over there at West Texas, all gnarly and half burnt. Yep. Yes, and he didn't have anybody teach. He learned that literally he developed that entire style of painting. Uh, People don't realize that before he would paint something on TV, he had to prep the canvas the day before or a couple of days before. And yeah, there was a lot more. Oh well, nobody said yeah they wanted to hear about the cluster headache. I mean, I'm not going to tell you. I mean, it's a pain in the butt to talk about. Cool, Cardinal. Anyway, cluster headaches. The There are blood vessels, veins, whatever. There's little things little tubes that have blood going through them that uh, deliver blood or not blood, oxygen and nutrients and stuff to the nerves that run from the back of your eyeball to your brain. Um, and for whatever reason, then this is the cluster headache is, is the effect of those blood vessels constricting, not closing up and cutting the oxygen supply off to your the back of your eye or whatever, but literally having a cramp and clamping down and squeezing the crap out of your optic nerve. And that's why it feels like somebody's trying to rip your eye out. It goes from your eye all the way back into your brain, and it literally feels like something. And it all depends the severity of the contraction or whatever, the cramp, the constriction is the level of pain, and it can literally it can be 1 or 2 minutes, or it can be 2 or 3 hours. The worst one I ever had, uh, and it's done damage to my eye. Like I don't know how to explain it. My readers don't do me any good. My magnifier doesn't do me any good on this eye. It's, everything's just blurry. So anyway, that's not entirely. Sometimes I have really good days and I can see it. Um, they don't know what causes the blood vessel to constrict. They don't have any medication to cause it to stop. But yeah, like literally the blood vessels around the nerve play the anaconda game or the python game on the nerve. And the longest one I've had personally, the longest headache I've had was it ran for just under 3 from start to finish. Well, from me being aware of it, uh, and a lot of the time, me personally, my experience with them, I had a little bit of warning if they come on when I was awake because you can have them. You don't have to be asleep. Mine were, as a general rule, were super kind in the fact that get off the table. Uh, the They would wait until I went to sleep, and after about 45 minutes to an hour and a half after I'd gone to sleep, they would hit and they would wake me up, screaming in agony, bolting up out of bed, grabbing the side of my head. That's usually the way they did it. But if I was lucky, Uh, I could feel it coming on because if you drink water for whatever reason, just keep sipping water while they're coming on. You can. It seems to help. They don't last as long and they don't get as severe. The worst one I ever had, I was actually I was lucky I was actually in so much pain that I couldn't see because had I been able to find to end it, I would have ended it. It literally, I've never, a scale of 1 to 10 on the pain scale, that headache was a solid 20. Uh, when it finally quit, when the pain finally stopped, I collapsed in the floor, and that's where I woke up. Um, yeah, I haven't had anything more than a twinge of a cluster headache in 2 months. But one of the things that the doctor has, or these group of people have found that has helped is oxygen, which I don't have an oxygen. I need to get one of those things that you turn it on and it takes oxygen out of there. But oxygen, when you feel them coming on, you do oxygen supposedly, and it can help uh, reduce the pain. Doesn't stop the headache, but it'll reduce the pain. And albuterol, the and my doctor's cool enough. He doubled my prescription, so I do two during the day to get me through my breathing, and then I do one. I have one that I can do right at bedtime, and then if I get up with a cluster headache, I can I can hit the albuterol. And literally, it's weird if you breathe through your nose, the whatever the stupid thing, the vapor to go through your nose, the headache will ease off pretty or does for me. And that's something they found. They found that people that were having the cluster headaches, if they did the albuterol inhaler with the mask where they're breathing through their nose and their mouth, that it eased it off. I'd already bought a bunch of these. Now I can't get to this to take discount or whatever. I didn't buy the mask on. What happened? Night, Steve. That's nasty, Wayne and AA. And that's the exact. If I'm around, this really sucks. Uh, a campfire, whatever. It gets worse. I have more. Yeah, T-board to a degree. Um, I've got COPD real bad and scar tissue on my lung, some other stuff. My oxygen level stays down around 92, 93. Like right now, so probably 92, 93, something like that. Um, I can do breathing exercises. I can get it up real fast though. Biggest my thing is my lungs are real stiff and they don't want to exhale. I have to force myself to exhale a lot. Quite annoying. Yeah. What I did when I was looking for a job, I just opened the newspaper and I just whatever had the shortest life expectancy. I just went and applied. The big companies with careers where you could move up and this, that, and everything else, they would always ask all these really awkward questions, interviews and stuff. Have you ever been hurt at work? You know, blah blah blah, this and that and everything else. And I just got discharged once because I said no, I got nothing to disclose or whatever, and I got hired on, and I was doing my well, I worked there 5 6 months, and they found out that I had indeed filed a workman's comp, and they cut the move. But hell, one of the guys that told me about the job, they said, whatever you do, just don't let them know that you've ever been injured at work because they won't hire you. Sure enough, I checked around. It was just a lot. I mean, that was a deal. Um, they were real big. They thought that anybody that ever got hurt at work was just trying to milk their insurance, so they wouldn't work. They're not in business anymore, though, so I mean, wasn't going to be a long term thing anyway. I was just kidding. That's what you do. Um, the dangerous stuff was always the stuff they were hiring for. Because people would go out there and most of the guys that are out there doing all this stuff, they're not geared for it. They're gonna be that's just all there is to it. And every couple 3 or 4 weeks, they're gonna lose their temper. They're gonna get their little vajayjay hurt. They're gonna throw their gloves down. They're gonna roll their stuff up and they're gonna drive off. They made me work and it was hard. They said we had to come in on a Saturday and I wanted to get drunk on Friday. They said my wheels weren't dirty. They said I'm not really worth $45 an hour. Well, it's because you're putting goose shit on everything. And it's, there's like, I've talked to a bunch of the young guys coming up and, man, they ain't going to make it. Some of them got into it because they got, dads or uncles or stuff like that that were doing it. They didn't meet these guys until after these guys had 15, 20 years in it already. You don't start out as the top hand on the line. You don't start out getting all the good jobs. That's not how it works. So, you don't start out getting to be pulled off the line and made an inspector. So that's not the words. And your uncle or grandpa or whatever told you all the stories and stuff. Um, he just remembered the good times. He didn't tell you the bad times. Now you think there's not any bad times, and you go out there and you find out there's really hard, sucky times. There's times you're going to be out there in the rain. You're going, ain't no rain out circle when it's a shutdown. You got to get out there and you got to wait out. The rain's coming in sideways. Your gloves are wet. You're standing in a puddle of water. That arc is literally going through your arm. You're, I mean, you're making sparks. Thank God it's. Oh well, I've welded in the rain before and it's but I've stood behind guys with slickers trying to keep the rain off of them enough to where they could get their job done and watch the electricity jumping from their earlobe to their neck, just blue light. You can see smoke, and they're just getting it, just cussing. But it's the job. It's literally what you signed on for. Most of the young guys out there, they're not going to do it. Well, that could cause serious long-term health issues. What do you think? I want to live forever? Sorry, Carol. Yeah, Wayne, think about it. How good a health are you in right now? And you might have shaved 2 or 3 decades off. So don't get too- I mean, I was probably going to live to 120. Not so much anymore. Nobody say anything funny in the chat or on the live stream until Carol gets through with her coffee. It's not. It's the people that cry. Oh shit! My husband come home with the boo boo. If we can drive the cost of manufacturing inside the United States to an astronomical level, we can get all of the stuff made in China and completely cripple the workforce in the Americas, force all of them onto social welfare programs, control all the voting, there, all of the federal power, or all of the governmental power into the federal range, and we can take over, control everything. And if we make them believe that it was their idea and they're the ones in control of it and that they're doing themselves a favor, we don't have to do any of the work. And here we are. Welders out there getting $35, $40 an hour for single hand. Dude, you got nothing in you. Oh, she is a pain in the butt. It's every problem that the United States is, or any that the world is facing now, can be traced back in the. I am guilty. I cannot say this to y'all without being guilty of it myself. But until we realize, until we look in the mirror and say, okay, you, what did you do to cause this? Everybody would just do that. Look in the mirror and go, what did you do to cause this? And be honest with ourselves and stop making excuses like, well, I had to do this. I didn't have to push that. Well, no, actually, I didn't have to. I did not have to push that drill mud around. I didn't have to do it. I could have went and found something. I did. Uh, you know, I did not have to go offshore. Welding offshore was something else. Spent more time with zinc poisoning than anything else because I was doing handrails and everything out there. All the handrails were galvanized. And there's, you do your best. You drink your milk and try to keep to where the breeze is blowing stuff away. But exactly. Cold weekend. Hell, it's cold right now, and it's gonna warm up the weekend here. Uh, Good friend of mine, uh, James, or if you're actually a good friend, got his finger cut off at work. He grabbed the little nub, it threw a red rag over the end of it, went to the doctor. They said, we're not going to be able to put that back up. It's okay. They gave him some aspirin and sewed the skin. It was wove up to his finger. Could have been in on. I was back at work before school. We walk around like this, but uh, yeah, there's not many of those people left. Yeah, I told my wife I'll stay on here about an hour and get off, and it's an hour and a half right now. Kentucky survivalist says, "Hey, this is X. This is hello. She's been trapped in the house for 2 days with me. Uh, she's in heaven right now. It's hard for her to concentrate on anything, but but the quality time she's got to spend with her husband the past couple days. It's all right, back. I don't know if y'all could hear the enthusiasm in her voice or not, but yeah, don't fall for the hype. Don't spread the hype. Anything in excess is bad for you. Ain't nothing wrong. I was going to take a sip of bourbon just to prove the point. Ain't nothing wrong with having. However, there's nothing wrong with having a drink. Nothing else. It's just not real smart to get drunk all the time. I used to be drunk every day. So I started. I mean, I got off of work at 5 o'clock. I was buzzing by 5:30 every day. I literally stopped at the liquor store every freaking day. Hell, my wife didn't even know I drank. So, don't overdo it, folks. You know, it's yeah, we're all headed the same place, and you're not racing anybody else. You're racing yourself. Don't actually believe that we're all going to be alive. I don't think you can shave days off of your life. I think we're all allotted 20 days. It's just what kind of quality are you going to get? Are you going to be out getting her done and go to bed and wake up at the pearly gate? You got to spend 2, 3, 4 years staring at a cinder block wall, white painted cinder block wall with a picture of a tulip on it. That's up to you. God bless y'all. Y'all still alive, don't die. I will see y'all next one.